The miracle verses of Quran. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Quran's verses are two groups. One group is about the religion, and the other one is about the nature. And it is composed of the scientific verses that in the past their exact meanings were not clear. But now with the advancement of the science, we can understand most of them. These verses are scientific miracles of Quran. And in the next several sessions, God willing, I will talk about several of these verses. The verses which are about the religion are also according to the laws of the nature and are scientific verses. But at this time, I will not talk about them. Today and in the next two sessions, I will talk about 4 of these verses, which are verses 9 to 12 of Sureh Fosselat, Surah number 41. Now, the first one, that is verse number 9. It states, "Say, is it that you indeed disbelieve in him who created the earth in 2 periods, and we set up equals with him? That is the Lord of the people." A brief discussion. The earth has been created in 2 periods, as this verse is saying. At the first period, there were lots of small rocks moving in a path around the sun. These rocks would hit and join each other, and gradually because of joining each other, became bigger and bigger, and finally the Earth and 4 other rocky planets were made. The other planets are not rocky. At this time, the Earth was too close to the sun, so it was too hot. Then gradually it migrated to its present location. Now the second period has started. Then its rotation around itself was slightly deviated, and because of that the 4 seasons were produced. After that, the rivers began at the mountainsides and took water to the oceans. The planetary specialists have found more than 2,600 planets around some other stars. Each star is a big and very hot globe-like sun. In fact, each star is a sun. And the planetary specialists have found 2,600 planets around the suns which are close to us. But neither of these planets have life on them. The Earth has had 2 periods. At the second period, as I said, the Earth moved away from the sun and stayed at the present location, which is suitable for life. If it was closer to the sun, it would be too hot and all the waters would evaporate. And if it was further away, all the waters would become ice. Only at the present location, the water is in 3 states of ice, water, and vapor, which are necessary for higher life, including the human beings. Also, if the Earth was larger than it is, because of increased gravity, the mountains would collapse. The weight of the mountains would increase a lot and they would collapse, go inside the earth. And there would be no mountains. As a result, there would be no rivers and no oceans. And if the earth was smaller than it is, like the planet Mars, which is next to the earth, we are planet number 3 from the sun. Mars is planet number 4. The earth would be covered at that time, like Mars, with mountains, and there would be just a small amount of land. So there would not be enough land for the human beings to live on them. The second period that made the earth suitable for life of higher beings like human being is unique to the earth. The other planets do not have this second period. So God created the earth in 2 periods. At the first period, it was like the other planets, and at the second period, it became suitable for the higher life, including the human beings. Now I will talk about verse number 10. The topic is verses 9 to 12 of Sureh Fosselat. Now I will talk about, at this session, I will talk about verse number 10. The other 2 verses will remain for the future sessions. Verse number 10 of Surah 41, Surah Fosselat, says, "And he made in it anchors above it, and he blessed therein and made its foods in 4 periods, alike for the seekers." This verse has 2 parts. One, making anchors above the earth, and 2, making the earth's food in 4 periods alike for the seekers. I will discuss these 2 briefly. 1, making anchors above the earth. The earth's crust, the crust of the earth is the hard part that we live on it. Under the crust, there is a semi-liquid substance. The crust is made of 6 or 7 large plates. The geologists call them plates, and several smaller ones. And as I said, under the crust, there is a semi-liquid substance. And the crust is floating above it, over this semi-liquid substance. These plates can swing from side to side. In fact, in different directions they can swing. But the edges of these plates are over each other. The edge of one plate is above another one, and that is where the mountains are. The mountains, with their enormous weight, stick these 2 plates to each other, and they do not swing. So the mountains, like the anchor of the ships, prevents the swinging. The anchor of the ships prevent the ships swinging to two sides. The mountains do exactly the same thing. The anchor of the ship is underneath of it in the water, but the anchors of the earth are above it because there are mountains which are above the crust. The verse states, He made in it anchors above it. The second part of the verse 10 states, He blessed therein and made its foods in 4 periods alike for the seekers. Now I will talk briefly about this part. The geologists are the specialists of the earth. They state that since the earth was made, it has had 4 periods, that they call these 4 periods 4 eons. Eon, E-O-N. That is the scientific term that the geologists use. The condition of the earth in these 4 eons has been different. For example, at one eon, the earth has been hot and humid, and at another one, it has been very cold. As a result, at each eon, the grasses have been different. Because these changes has been gradual, not suddenly, each change from one eon to another eon has taken thousands of years. During these thousands of years, the animals who could not eat the new grass started growing, and then gradually it increased. The animals who could not eat the new grass gradually decreased in number, and finally they became extinct. At our time, the specialists say that over 99% of the living creatures which have been in the past have become extinct. Quran talks about these 4 eons as 4 periods. For those who are not familiar with the geological term of eon, this word gives the knowledge completely accurately, and they understand it. Quran states that God made the foods in 4 periods, that is the 4 eons, alike for the seekers. And that is exactly what has happened. I talk about alike for the seekers now. The food has been equally available for all the living organisms, but those who could not use the new food during thousands of years, they gradually have been decreased in number, and finally they became extinct. Thank you, and God bless you.